worked incrementally forward, down here towards Shane Dowling. The race for possession with Paul Murphy. Murphy gets there first, slips it onto his stick and knocks it back into midfield. Reaching up for it, here comes Colin Fennelly. Fennelly against two Limerick players, prods it forward as far as Brian Hogan, but it's a poor ball to give his man. Picked up in the end, however, by the midfielder Richie Hogan. Back down again it comes. Out comes Richie McCarthy, keeping a very close eye on Mark Kelly. Hasn't been able to get into the game so far. Wayne McNamara, big one back. Rain now picks up again, falls down incessantly. Back there is Jackie Tyrrell. Tyrrell, as he's done so often in the past for Kilkenny, wins possession and drives at the proverbial mile. But there are a lot of Limerick players back there. Kilkenny men putting them under pressure. Michael Fennelly in particular responding well, however, here. Richie McCarthy once again back down, but over the sideline. Line ball to the Cats.
Brilliantly at wing forward. He's out of the game at corner forward, and Seamus Hickey, what a catch here. Normally TJ Reid wins those balls, and that's brilliant play by Hickey.
And mention of matchups, Kilkenny are usually so good at getting the mismatches right.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that one, and you know, I thought he'd be out here at left half forward.
Do you remember 2007 when Seamus Hickey was a Callow youth on that occasion, playing left quarter back, and I think Eddie Brennan was stuck in on top of him. It was a difficult one for him on the day. Paul Brown right now, up there into that inside forward line towards Shane Dowling. Under pressure there is Paul Murphy, and Murphy comes out, but the referee says he committed a foul and it's going to be a free in.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't against Paul Murphy. Maybe Jackie Tyrrell. If you watch it here, Murphy comes out all eyes on the ball, and
didn't see Jackie do anything. He's not out of shot. Maybe there was a holding violation.
It was against Paul Murphy, but it was a harsh one.
It's an all-star, of course, well able to cope with it. Shane Dowling, one from open play. This is first free, and this one he pops over the bar, and he'll get a lot of encouragement from the way this game has started, and so will Limerick.
Yeah, I think Limerick doing very well so far.
Yeah, just caught the hand,
yeah. And Limerick doing very well. They're, you know, they're younger legs, they're fresh, they're hungry, and you know, they're on top in most areas of the field. But there's only 3 points in it.
David Herity once again driving it down here towards Michael Fennelly, beats everybody. Colin Fennelly, his brother, goes for it, and then Michael's able to pick up the remnants of that and go after it. Paul Brown after him. Inside, control there by Tom Comden, helped out by Wayne McNamara, slipped as far as David Breen, and Breen from his own 50-metre line gets away here. 4 men are after him, gives it away poorly to Killian Buckley. Killian Buckley now, chance to place this one or have a go for a shot himself. Well, he's done neither really. Didn't really give it to Mark Kelly, who needs a decent ball inside just to get himself into the game. Wayne McNamara up here, controlled with difficulty by Donald O'Grady, and then left behind as far as Joey Holden. Balanced by Jackie Tyrrell, put under pressure. Back in comes Holden again. Again looks up, sees a loose man. That loose man is Porrick Welch. Hand passed outside as far as Richie Hogan. Switches the direction of the attack as far as Colin Fennelly. Steps inside, steps away from trouble, and hits it over for his 3rd point. Neat play by Kilkenny. Lovely build-up. Always patient, and there was a purpose to that patience at the end.
There was, Gerard, but a lot of great tackling by Limerick, putting them under an awful lot of pressure to get the score. Graham Mulcahy there stood his ground, and great tackling, and Colin Fennelly, the one Kilkenny forward really who's been outstanding so far. He scored 3 points now, and Wayne McNamara needs to tighten up there.
2 between them. Reaching up this time, Joey Holden needs some support. Back there once again. Conor Fogarty this time, into the middle of the field it comes. In as far as Colin Fennelly. Have a look over his right shoulder, see if there's anybody coming to try and possibly hook him. And in the end, he had enough time to have done a little bit more with that, but he's got 3 points so far.
And Gerard, that's what I was talking about earlier. Wayne McNamara back 50 yards from his own goals, trying to protect the full back line, and Colin Fennelly being left loose. You can't do that. Paul Brown there did very well to put a bit of pressure on him. He did the same to Michael Fennelly in the last ball. But you know, if they're going to play like that, one of the midfielders has to drop into the pocket.
The possession so far, Kilkenny dominating that. On a day when Brian Cody is in charge of Kilkenny in championship match for the 71st time. What a record. From the puck out, Richie Hogan takes off, held back by Paul Brown, who pleads his innocence. Richie Hogan will possibly take this free himself, although I think it's got to be TJ Reid who will come out for it. But this time it was Paul Brown.
Yeah, great catch by Richie Hogan, and it shows you what Paul Brown can do. He put such pressure on him. I thought maybe Richie Hogan might have overcarried that slightly before he was fouled. The hurl came in across him.
So once again, TJ Reid, he's got 1 pointed free already, playing in his 7th championship season. Remember, he got 2-2 in Kilkenny's last All-Ireland semi-final here 2 years ago, remember, against Tipperary. Somewhat crazy match. And this was poorly hit, and he's missed it. So now that is a 7th wide for Kilkenny in this first half after 23 minutes in the rain. 7-5. Won't be too pleased.
He won't be, but Limerick have had a lot of the game and they're only 2 points up, so he won't be too displeased. But I'd say they'll be looking at changes maybe.
That's well caught, well taken down here. Donald O'Grady, great warrior that he is, intended for James Ryan, picks it up, slips the hand pass back outside to Graham Mulcahy, and Mulcahy splits the uprights with that and gets his 2nd point of this All-Ireland semi-final. The first, of course, 2nd coming up next Sunday, live on the Sunday game as well.
Yeah, great work there by James Ryan. He's been brilliant all year in the middle of the field, and very unselfish, the Limerick players so far. They're throwing the ball around very well, and great spread of scores in the forward line.
Again targeting Michael Fennelly from the puckouts, kicking it into the centre here, stalemate situation. Gavin O'Mahony trying to feed it out, playing a bit of football with it. Kicks in with his right, down here to Brian Hogan, and Hogan back in again into the mix. Wayne McNamara put under pressure by Mark Kelly. Kelly to show what he's able to do. Slipped the hand pass, slips the pass in here towards Michael Fennelly. Fennelly trying to get away from 2 would-be challengers from Limerick, and then gets the shot away, and it's a very well-worked point by Michael Fennelly. He had an awful lot to do to earn that score for Kilkenny and put 2 between them.
And I think that's it, Ger. That's how hard Kilkenny are having to work for these scores. Savage tackling by all the Limerick players, and Gavin O'Mahony and Michael Fennelly having a great battle so far. I think Gavin O'Mahony having his best game for a long time at left half back.
I think the referee was still writing that score into his notebook, and Limerick wanted to take the puck out quickly, and he wasn't ready, so they've got to do it again. Take 2. Nicky Quaid, beaten 4 times when these teams met in the 2012 championship. 5th championship season for him. And to pick out his optimum position. Not necessarily there. 2 Kilkenny players went for it, and Brian Hogan was the one who was hooped. James Ryan hand passed outside to Donald O'Grady, looked up, spotted who was inside. Dowling couldn't quite finish it, might yet. Not with JJ Delaney around, and the little block on it, and it went off Shane Dowling, I think. A lot of pressure on. That's Limerick's first wide. That
was absolutely brilliant vision by Donald O'Grady. A great block there, flicked by Shane Dowling. Good save by David Hurdy, and JJ Delaney was just caught the wrong side of his man, and Donald O'Grady picked him out brilliantly.
These are great shots. The intensity of the action this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a great hook by David Breen on Brian Hogan, who drifted across the field. Really, he should have been driving forward with that ball, and that's what Limerick are doing all over the field. They're working really hard.
Wayne McNamara, one-handed, almost tennis style, into the centre. Hannon as far as Paddy O'Brien. Control there by Brian Hogan. They're mighty glad to have him at number 6 today. He's got an awful lot of the ball. Richie Hogan slips away from trouble. Down as far as Colin Fennelly. Very influential. Porrick Welch unable to take it in his stride, but it might come for Owen Larkin, who sets off. Owen Larkin running into a cul-de-sac now. Can he manage to get a shot away? 4 around him, denying him space. TJ Reid in there to help. Comes back out here as far as Conor Fogarty. Slips wide across here. Porrick Welch couldn't take it down. Paddy O'Brien manages to get it away for Limerick. Up here as far as Paul Brown. Brown trying to get it onto his stick. Pressurised by Richie Hogan. Slips it forward as far as Declan Hannon. Hannon into space. Big, huge space inside the 45-metre line. Missed there by JJ Delaney. Shane Dowling going in. JJ was fouling, and it's got to be a free in. But for a moment, Shane Dowling was almost in the clear.
Well, he was. He was gone goal side there, and watch here, JJ missed it here, and then he leaves back, and he pulled him back. It's definitely a yellow card, I would imagine.
Well, it's Shane Dowling who's was having a word there with the referee, J.J. Delaney, the man who was centre of that last little piece of action. I think TJ Ryan and the selectors were very pleased. Everything has gone pretty well so far. They've brought their A game with them. They're showing intensity. They're not afraid of Kilkenny. Dowling to take. This would be his 3rd point. Second of those was a free already, and this is point number 3. 9-6, Limerick leading.
I didn't see any card there.
I didn't see a card either.
I thought it was a yellow card, and J.J. Delaney is very lucky there.
That tactic is interesting, isn't it, though, of just bringing back the corner forwards and leaving Shane Dowling inside there on occasions against J.J. Delaney. At the other end, it's Richie Hogan who advances, and Richie Hogan has been dragged back there by Tom Condon, and it's going to be a free in for Kilkenny, who could put 2 between them again with this next free. Yeah,
that's a soft free to give away. Just so he can just slight pull in his arm there, and really no danger. Richie Hogan had a lot to do, and this should be an easier one for TJ Reid now. The last one was very difficult from the middle of the field.
TJ Reid, who has been a consistent star with Kilkenny all through this year, league and championship. And even as they've been restructured as a team this year, you've got to bear in mind they won the league, they won the Leinster, and they're just 3 points behind in this All-Ireland semi-final. It might very shortly be 2. And it is. Second for TJ Reid, playing in his 30th championship match.
Jerry just noticed Richie Hogan is down there. It looks to be a hamstring problem. I think that time when he was getting onto it, he's been treated there in the middle of the field, and I think the referee is waving on play, is he?
Well, perhaps he hasn't noticed yet. The doctor, Ty Crowley, is attending to Richie, arguably their best player during this year's championship. Certainly vying with TJ Reid and Colin Fennelly for that. Declan Hannon inside. Good movement inside by Kevin Downs. We haven't seen a great deal of him. Downs, chance here. Shut up Shane Dowling. Old schoolmates, and one-handed over the bar by Dowling. They get a 4th. He gets a 4th. Limerick at a 10th. 3 between them again.
Yeah, Kevin Downs hasn't been in the game, but this is great improvisation by Shane Dowling. That's a fantastic score off his weaker side. Tennis style, as you said earlier on, and but a great teamwork again, and great work rate by the Limerick team.
From the puck out, Michael Fennelly inevitably in the thick of it. Richie Hogan, by the way, back in the thick of the action again in midfield. Hopefully he has shaken off that injury, and it won't come back to bother him for the remaining minutes of this game, and there's a lot of the game to go. A full 40 minutes still to be played. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Gavin O'Mahony ready to hit this. Scored a couple of points against Clare in last year's semi-final. Got a couple of points as well against Tip when they were here in 09 in that semi-final before that. This should be Paul Murphy's, and is. Pressurised by Shane Dowling, also Graham Mulcahy, and it's given away Mulcahy, then stolen by J.J. Delaney. Helped out by Jackie Tyrrell. And the old firm of Delaney and Tyrrell back there, giving solidity to that Kilkenny defence. Here's Paul Brown, ready to try and prise it open again. Tom Condon into space. Should be JJ's, or should be Jackie's rather on this occasion. Came across, back to the goalkeeper, David Herity. 31-year-old school teacher here in Dublin. Tyrrell back out, away out of danger eventually by Michael Fennelly, is working tirelessly all the way down towards TJ Reid. Reid trying to get inside the defenders, shouldered by Wayne McNamara, ball spills loose, picked up by Richie McCarthy, under pressure from Mark Kelly, hits it away, only to the 45-metre line, back there to help out Declan Hannon. In came Wayne McNamara with a thumping shoulder there on Porrick Welsh. Trying to get back on his feet, Declan Hannon managed to get the ball up and kicks it away. Out as far as Michael Fennelly. Chance to put this one to rest by putting it over the bar, and calm matters somewhat with his 2nd point of this first half. So now it's 10 points to 8. 2 between them, 3 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, great piece of skill first of all by Declan Hannon. Came way back down the field and picked up a great ball, but kicked it out, and Michael Fennelly loose out the field, and a good score. And I think Kilkenny are going to be the happier team. They haven't really started to play, and yet they're only 2 points down.
A lot of hurling to be played in this one. Back down towards Paul Brown, stolen away from him, however. And a way out of trouble there once again by Conor Fogarty. Returned by Paddy O'Brien. In there towards Graham Mulcahy, looks around. Decides to play it back as far as Paul Brown, and Brown's usually good for a score or two in a great semi-final. That one just dropped short, and the goalkeeper David Carity had to be very careful about his positioning there, not to step back over the line. Jackie Tyrrell into midfield. Won back brilliantly here by Richie Hogan. Beautifully on as far as Pádraig Walsh. Now he's got space, he's got time. He can score here, and he does. It's his second. Great play by the 22-year-old from Tullaroan, only playing in his 6th championship match, one between them.
Yeah, and that's 9 points from playing out from that half-forward line. Pádraig Walsh has got 2, Colin Fennelly has got 3, and Hurley did well there. And Michael Fennelly's got 2, Pádraig Walsh has got 2, and Colin Fennelly has got 3. And that's a great return on a guy like this from play from 9 points from that half-forward line.
James Ryan working to try and get it forward. In the end, hit it out towards Paddy O'Brien, ends up out of the sideline. Line ball to Kilkenny.
In the last few minutes, we have a cornerback can influence the game. Jackie Tyrrell has been outstanding in the last 7 or 8 minutes. He's really shown leadership and driving the team forward, and a lot of the scores coming from his games. Here's Brian Hogan now.
Bad marking, Richie Hogan to Brian Hogan, and Hogan puts it wide. Bad miss. He may be centre half back, but he's well and truly capable of putting that one over the bar. He's got 6 points in the past. A bit of time to go before we hear the half-time whistle. Scoring chances so far, 34 scoring chances between the two teams. Kilkenny have created more.
And you know, Kilkenny haven't had a game in quite a few weeks now, and I think you can see them beginning to get up to the pace of the game now. In the last 6 or 7 minutes, completely different team than we saw in the first 20 minutes, and they've powered into it. This is a difficult chance, but Richie Hogan has the ability to land this, and if he did, it'd be a draw match at half-time.
Richie Hogan, who got a red card when these two teams last met in the championship in Perlis, the final 2012. It's going to drop short, but it's dangerously in there. Falls down as far as Paul Brown, and Brown under pressure gets it away, and it's going to be a sideline ball, so the pressure will be back on the Limerick defenders once again for the last scheduled few seconds of this opening half. Line ball will be taken by Richie Hogan as TJ Ryan calls out the shots. Make sure everybody's picked up. 1 minute of additional time will be played. We're into the red as Richie Hogan takes it. TJ Reid looking for the next shot, try and tie up this game as we head to half-time. Colin Fennelly looked to be caught. Play continues inside Richie Hogan. Hogan buries it, and Kilkenny lead. First time of the game, Kilkenny in front. Richie Hogan gets his 6th ever championship goal.
Yeah, brilliant play, Gerard. Colin Fennelly, and look at the strength of Richie Hogan. He took that tackle and buried it. And all credit to the referee there as well. He let the advantage go. Here's Wayne McNamara. There was no foul, actually. He came to him, fair shoulder, and a brilliant finish by Richie Hogan.
Well, talk about seizing the moment. On the call of half-time, Richie Hogan steps up and buries it. 1-9 to 10 points, 2 between them, and the next few moments we'll hear the referee's whistle go for half-time, I'm sure. Is there one more attack? Graham Mulcahy near the sideline here, chance to get his shot in, and that is a good response. If it goes over, it doesn't. Oh, it's in the net, is it? No, not quite. So very close that time. Brian Hogan managed to get it out. That was dangerous. That'll be worth seeing again. The referee has blown his whistle. Limerick players are questioning whether the ball had gone over the line or not, but the umpire's unmoved. Did Limerick...
We see the referee going into the umpires, but it's a bit late now. Watch.
Did it fall down? No.
It's just there, no. It looked to be...
Didn't cross the line, I think.
Cross the line, no.
So James McGrath, who went in, had a word with the umpires.